It's 5:19 a.m. on a Sunday morning. I have no idea why I'm awake. This is just when I wake up. I'm bored, so fuck it, make a wrestling video. This is gonna be a response to video by Jhopson 623. He was talking about his video about TNA and some of about the roster being overcrowded, and that it mainly has to do with them doing a lot of storylines, and talking about the Knockouts division and trimming the roster. So I just want to respond to a couple things really quickly. I gotta talk quick because they took away my unlimited time. I'm back to only being able to do 15 minutes on YouTube. I'm not sure why they took away my unlimited videos. I like being able to go higher, so I'm hoping I can figure out how to get that back. The thing with the overcrowded, sort of the packed show, I see that too, although I do like the heavy storyline. The thing is, that's mainly a result of TNA trying to respond to a lot of the criticism they get from the IWC. I think they listen to the fans a bit too much, actually. It is that people are always complaining about people not being on the show. They always complain about how, this guy or this guy hasn't been on the show in weeks and months. People who are fans of like Amazing Red will still complain that he hasn't been on the show much lately. But it's like if you put him on the show, he's all crowded. So, in order to put someone in, you got to take someone else out. And then that comes to the question of who do you take out. And everybody has a different opinion. So no matter who you take off the show, there's going to be complaints. Because, everybody has different people that they like and want to see on TV. Myself, I'm not a huge fan of Amazing Red. I really don't mind that he hasn't been on TV for a while. Although I miss the fact that Jay Lethal hasn't been on TV for a while, And, you put Jay Lethal on TV, you gotta take somebody else off, who you take off. Everybody has a fan base. And that's the same thing when he talks about firing people. I only think there's in my opinion, there's only one guy on the whole TNA roster you could fire in which no one would complain, and that's Rob Terry. Everybody else on the show has a fan base, and you're gonna get complaints no matter who you fire. That's the issue. That's the situation TNA finds themselves in. You can fire some of the newer guys, but everybody will bitch about how you're not building up new stars for the future. But if you fire any of the established talent, well, they all have fan bases who's gonna bitch. Like J-Hop in this video mentioned Rob Van Dam. I can't stand RVD either. I'd fire him too. But as much as I don't like the guy, I can't deny the fact that he has a very large fan base. So you're gonna alienate a large number of people who are gonna not watch your show anymore because he's not there. Same can be said with Matt and Jeff Hardy. Again, those are two other people I get rid of, but I also recognize that they have really huge fan bases and that they do bring some additional a good number of additional viewers to the show. Personally, I'd probably have them doing more stuff together as a team for a while. Excuse me, that was a yawn. Again, it's 5:22 a.m. I at least do some stuff with them as a team for a while. If you go back through my videos a few weeks back, I think it was the first edition of. I did a series called After Immortal that I've been doing, talking about potential storylines for TNA to do once the whole Dixie Carter Immortal storyline has finally come to an end. And I think edition number 1 talks about a Hardy Boys versus Generation B feud that I'd like to do. I think, I'd actually think Matt and Jeff should be more in the tag team scene for a little while than the world title scene. Because, Matt's really just not world title material, and just been in the world title picture for a long time, and there's plenty of other people in the world title picture, and plus you can always split them up for a while. I halfway agree with you on Team 3D. Devon I could see going, but I think there's potential with the Bully Ray character. I actually like the Bully Ray character, and I want to see him just this feud with Devon end, and have him feud with some different people. I think he could be a really good heel and give some pretty decent matches. He just gotta start bullying people. As I'm looking at the roster, Abyss I would get rid of. I think Abyss is just run his course, and there's really just not much left to do with that character anymore, except take him off TV for several months, say he's in a mental institution, and he comes back fixed, and he's Chris Parks. I get rid of Tommy Dreamer, Taz, Rob Terry, RVD. Mick Foley's barely there anymore, so he might as well go. I still think there's some use out of the Hardys for a little while before they go. Although I'm not a fan of either guy. I really could. I mean, if they were both fight today, I really wouldn't care. But I understand that a lot of other people would. But I also wouldn't get rid of Gunner and Murphy. In fact, I mean, I've seen a little bit of the two guys. I think they have talent, and I think they could be a legitimate tag team. You just have to establish them as a real tag team, which I also would do after the Immortal storyline. I'm going to talk about Gunner, and I'm going to do a video on Gunner and Murphy later, where I talk about what I would do with them. And moving into the stuff you said about the knockouts. The thing about the Knockouts tag titles is they've established so many of the Knockouts as credible singles wrestlers that you could just transition. Most of the teams you have will work as singles wrestlers and as tag teams. Like, the Beautiful People are a tag team, but you could split them up and they're both credible as singles wrestlers too. Same with Madison Rayne and Tara. Same with Sarita and Rosita. You know, Sarita's established, so if you ever need to split them up and then send Sarita on a singles run for a little while, there's other people who can carry the tag belts. And I was thinking, eventually, I think Winter needs to end up being paired with Daphne as a tag team, because they're both kind of crazy psycho freaks, and I'd like to see them feud with the Beautiful People for a little while. Eventually come to the point where they just have to settle it. Maybe like well, I'll do that in a separate video, but eventually make it a point where Velvet has to choose Angelina has to choose between Velvet or Winter, and she ends up choosing Velvet, and so Winter basically goes crazy, attacks her, and Daphne shows up and attacks her, and we revealed that it was actually Daphne who attacked Velvet Sky backstage a few weeks ago, and it wasn't really Winter. And then Winter and Daphne team up, and Winter is one half of the tag champs. Then you got the Beautiful People together, and Angelina's still one half of the champs. So then they feud over the titles for a little while. Go with Winter and Daphne get the tag titles, and now Beautiful People can chase them, and they can feud over those belts for a little while. And you still have Mickie James and Madison Rayne, and you have Sarita. You might have to bring in one or two more people, and they can feud over the singles title. Like, when they brought in, I agree with Jay. When they first brought in the Knockouts tag titles, I was also against it because I didn't think they had enough women. But I figured out that you can make it work. You just need a few more. And you mentioned Christina Von Eerie, and instead of her being tag partner, if you watch NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, for a little while, Christina Von Eerie did some stuff with another woman on that show named Buggy. And I like Buggy. I haven't seen a good bit of her over the past couple of weeks, and I'd like to see her come into TNA. And I would actually pair them both up with Ink Inc. They'd be like the girl version. Ink Inc would be more like a stable. You know, Shannon Moore and Jesse Neal would be like the guy team in Ink Inc, and then Christina Von Eerie and Buggy would be like the girl team. And in real life, Jesse Neal is dating Christina Von Eerie anyway, So for on screen, you could say that Buggy is like Shannon Moore's girlfriend, and it could be both guys, both their girlfriends, one male team, one female team, and they could just be like a whole stable. Because Buggy and Christina Von Henry, they both got like the tattoo punk look, just like Ink does, and there's some really good. And, I think that would work with them. As for the stuff you said about the IWC, Jayhawk, I've ranted on the IWC so many times, just talking about just the blatant double standards and hypocrisies of the IWC. I get into it, but if I get into it, I'm gonna go way over my 15-minute time limit. That would have to be a whole separate video. So this is just a quick response I wanted to make. So this is the Shadow Ranger. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.